not ads this week. Look, the thing is you can go on all the sites and you can see everybody that they want you to add. But the problem is they're wrong. Sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're wrong. Look, they just all regurgitate the same information, and we do not do that here at Yards After the Catch. We run the numbers, we run the data, but most of all, we look at the points because it's points over stats, people. Stats will not get you the win in fantasy football. The points will. I am here with the best co-host in the history of co-hosts, Mr. Root. There it is. You can find him at Mr. Football Today on Twitter. Mr. Root, there it is. How are you today?
Well, my back's kind of hurting because I'm carrying all these losses for the first few weeks, and it's been real heavy over here. Uh, just not happening for me. I'm gonna have to hit those waiver wires and see if I can make something happen in the next few weeks. Get back on track.
Yeah, you're not the only one in that group, I imagine. A lot of 1 and 2s, a lot of 0 and 3s out there. I might be carrying a couple 1 and 2s in my box of leagues myself. I definitely know some 0 and 3s. So, yes, it's time to work the waiver wire and fix the problem before it becomes a real issue. Week 3, it's not over yet. You got plenty of time. It's not the NFL. There's no stats about going 0 and 3 and not making the playoffs that we're worried about. It's just a matter of making a comeback and finishing strong. So don't worry about it if you're one of those 0 and 3 people. You still have plenty of time to get it done. But let's get started and figure out how to fix it. So um, maybe not the most important waiver wire pickups in the sense that there's a nice grouping of them available, but it seems like the logical place to start is at quarterback. Am I right?
Yeah, if you're hurting for quarterback, you really kind of have to look at the waiver wire and see what you're willing to give up for somebody who's actually available, depending on the deep side of your league. You have to know your team. You can't just like, well, I'm just going to get rid of someone because they're having a good week. You can't do that. That's a rookie mistake. Sometimes you just have bad weeks, and it's okay to like, okay, well, I got a loss. Very rarely do NFL football teams go undefeated. So a couple of losses isn't going to hurt. You just got to make playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's really it right there. The problem with quarterbacks is that, like you touched on it. What are you going to give up? Because you're probably still trying to get a running back. You're still trying to get a wide receiver. So you've got to be real careful about what you're giving and what you're getting. The nice thing about quarterbacks is they stand out and they're easy to find. We're going to start probably with the most obvious quarterback to add out there, and that's Mr. QB12 Sam Darnold for the Carolina 3-0 Carolina Panthers. Guys completing 68% of his passes. He is 23 plus points average per week. That's a nice grab for a quarterback. He's got two 300-yard games in a row. First game was 279, so he was right there. No CMC, I know what you're saying, but the guy's got 3 rushing TDs, so he's not afraid to run it. We'll talk about Chuba Hubbard because we know he's on the waiver wire as well. But next on the list, of course, is Dallas. Dallas is giving up a league 4th worst 28.3 points to quarterbacks. So Sam Darnold looking at a good situation there. Philadelphia is next. They're only giving up 18.3. But then after that, you got Minnesota, who's giving up 27.3 at 7th worst in the league to quarterback. So aside from the Philly game in week 5, you definitely got a rosterable guy here. So the question that we are asking this week is waiver, why or why not? Do I want Sam Darnold with those stats? I want him. What do you think?
When you got to really think about it, is like, was it the Jets that was really holding Sam Darnold back? I'm not so sure. I think putting some playmakers around him, he's actually doing pretty good. He's actually above average the last couple games, and he's getting 25 to 30 points a game, and that's what you need. He has playmakers around him, and I'm gonna have to say, yeah, like there's nothing wrong with the matchups coming up. I mean, didn't Dallas just do pretty well against Philadelphia? So his next 3 matchups, he's going to put up some points. I think he's going to be continuing to carry, and even might have to carry the team now. Like McCaffrey is no longer there, he might actually have to make some plays.
Yeah, a lot of people weren't really sold on him. I was one of them. Definitely playing well so far this year, 3-0, and again a favorable matchup, nice shootout opportunity with Dallas next week. And you're right, Dallas was able to put numbers up on Philly, so that that 18.3. Remember points, people points over stats. The stats say 18.3 from Philly, but obviously Dallas did better than that. Maybe Darnold can too. So if you're hurting for a quarterback, Sam Darnold is one place you could look. Another place you could look is over with the Washington football team, Mr. Taylor Heineke, coming out of nowhere. Look, nobody's got tape on him, so that helps his numbers. Okay, 68.5% completion percentage, again, right along there with Sam Darnold. 22.4 points against the Bills, who normally average only 16.8. So he beat that average by over almost 6.5 points. He outscored Kyler Murray this week. He outscored Jackson. He outscored Prescott. He outscored Rodgers, which everybody's kind of outscoring Rodgers right now because he's a week behind. But he outscored all those guys this week. He's got 15 rushing attempts. He's got Atlanta next, who gives up the sixth most quarterbacks at 27.6. He's got the Saints after that. He's got the Bills after that, the Chiefs after that. Look, the guy's got a nice schedule coming up aside from the Saints. And the Saints are giving up 18.1 a game. If he could beat the Bills, there's no reason that he couldn't beat the Saints. Heineke, with that supporting cast with McLaren and Gibson, he might be able to carry your team a little bit there.
Yeah, even with Logan there at tight end, you still have a good spot there. You have to think he's probably going to be in a lot of shootouts the next several weeks. That's kind of what you're looking for. You want those points. You want those. I mean, sometimes the stats aren't pretty. Sometimes when you throw 40 times a game, you're going to get a few picks, and that's okay. That'll be fine. But he's probably not too complacent. What is this, like his sixth year in the league? And he's got the starting job. Ron Rivera isn't signing Cam Newton, even though he has a lot of history with him, and Cam Newton's still sitting out there, free agent. If you
Yeah.
think about it, he's got the starting job. He's there. He's got some shootouts coming up. If you're hurting, pick him up. Even stash him if you need to.
Yeah, that's the key right there. You're going to play the matchups. You can play him against the Chiefs, who are giving up 29 points a game, but you can sit him against someone else. Again, he's got Atlanta coming up. He's got the Chiefs 2 weeks from now. So he's got a good schedule if you use him correctly. So Taylor Heineke is definitely someone you can grab, use for the matchup, and stash. If you've got a low end quarterback right now that's not doing what you thought they were going to do, Heineke could be a good complement. We call it quarterback by committee in fantasy, and that's when you have two quarterbacks who are a little lower end, but you use them in tandem to win your league with big points on the matchups. The last quarterback we're really going to get into is Carr, because a lot of people are looking at Carr right now. Look, the guy's numbers are huge because he's got an extra 3 quarters on everybody. You guys got overtime 3 weeks in a row, and that gives him 3 quarters extra of stats. So you've got to break that down a little bit. Next, he's got the Chargers, who are only giving up 18 points to quarterbacks, and he's got the Bears, who are only giving up 21, and the Broncos, of course, league best defense, only giving up 15.4. So his schedule is not very nice coming up. He is playing well. His numbers do look good, but to me, he is a pass for the waiver wire.
Yeah, the thing about it is you got a couple extra quarters here for a quarterback who is leading the league in passing. But I think I checked it out. It's he has 183 extra yards, which still puts him at the top tier. But when you compare him to someone like Tom Brady has 5 more touchdowns than he does. So I don't know if they're just running the ball in the whole time and not giving them, but the thing is, you got to put those points on the board. So take those almost 200 yards away, and he's kind of looking like you're still top 5, 10. If he's still on the waiver wire, pick him up. There's no doubt about it. But you got to temper your expectations just a little bit. And he's only completing 64% of his passes. Ryan Tannehill's doing that. He's way, way back there. So, I mean, you got to really think about like what you're really getting into. I mean, if this guy heats up on these tougher matchups, he could probably win your league if he keeps it up.
Yeah, so a little disagreement there. you might take him. I'm taking the pass just because of his schedule. But you know what? Quarterbacks beat the schedules all the time. So make a call there. Pass for me, but a possible for Roop. There it is. I want to do a quick.
More than take him. Just I'm saying if he's still available in a 12 team, there's nothing wrong with rostering him. But I'm
Sure.
not going to go out there and fight for him right now.
No, I'm not going to waste my waiver wire fab money on him. I can pick him up for free or something if no one else does. Honorable mention to Jared Goff. Again, he's been the recipient of favorable matchups. He's been playing from behind the whole time, so he's got some good numbers. 69.9, basically 70% completion rate. That's nice. He is ahead of Dak. He's ahead of Tannehill. He's ahead of Rodgers. But they do have Chicago, Minnesota, and Cincinnati coming up. But all those guys are giving up more than 20 points a game. So Goff can still get you 20 points a game or better at quarterback. That's not a bad turnout. Again, points over stats, guys. So let's get into the running backs. We know we're going to talk about Hubbard, right? I mean, Chuba Hubbard's definitely number one on everybody's list right now. And I would say if you are in just a traditional waiver, lowest record is the only requirement, then absolutely throw in a request for him, and hopefully you're the team that gets him. But if you're in a fab system, and this is really where the difference comes with Chuba Hubbard, you got to remember that Chuba Hubbard's only going to be in there for a couple of weeks. So how much money are you going to spend to get him? With everybody in your league trying to get him this week, you're probably going to have to spend quite a bit. And I don't know if he's going to be worth the cost to worth the fab money you're going to have to spend to get him on your roster to only play him for a few weeks.
Yeah, he is worth it if McCaffrey is unhealthy like he was last year. They do ride McCaffrey into the ground because he wants to be out there. So there's a chance that it'll pay off, but this isn't as bad as last year. I think McCaffrey will come back. But you are going to have to give up, just like you said, quite a bit just to get him if he's there. And yeah, Rob, yeah, he's screwed me over too because I did have McCaffrey in one.
Yeah,
And
that McCaffrey injury screwed over a lot of people. But I mean, if you don't have to spend your entire fab budget and you can get Hubbard, he's definitely playable. He's got Dallas next week, which is his toughest matchup. They're doing a seventh best at 19.4 to running backs. But after that, he's got Philly, who's given up 24 points per, and Minnesota, who's given up 22.9 to running back. So matchups coming for Chuba Hubbard. Just don't spend your entire fab budget to get him because you're only going to get a few games.
Yeah, Mike Davis was. I mean, we all remember what Mike Davis did. He was there.
Sure. Oh yeah, I love him. He won the game.
The money was worth it. But if you get him for 2 or 3 weeks and that was it, that's a steep price for it. So you have to really watch how much you want to spend for it. I have a couple leagues that I want to go for him, but he's already taken, and the other couple he is available, but what I have to give up for him, I'm not sure I want to do. So check your lineup. You don't have to go for this guy just because McCaffrey is down. That doesn't mean you have to do that. Check your lineups. Make sure that it's even worth it first.
Absolutely. There's probably some better plays out there, and we're going to talk about those plays. Frank Gore was brought up. Yeah, I wish he was coming back because he'd probably I'd pick him up. Someone asked, Barry asked, "Hey, welcome back, Barry. Love to see you most every week." Since Marlon Mack worth picking up since he has to be traded? Of course, the answer is absolutely not. If a guy has to be traded, he's probably not going to get played. I wouldn't play him as a coach, and he's definitely got two backs ahead of him that are performing way better than he is, which is why he has to be traded. And you've got to understand the nature of the trade. Even Marlon Mack is saying, I'm not worth playing because I'm not getting the reps. That's why he wants to be traded so that he can go somewhere. He's in the what do you call it? College football, the window to transfer window. Marlon Mack's put himself in the transfer window because he wants a chance to be a starter somewhere because he knows he's not going to get it there. So even Marlon Mack telling you not to pick him up. So don't listen to Marlon himself and don't pick him up. Another guy that a lot of people are looking at this week is Barber, Peyton Barber. 23 carries, 111 yards. this week, 3 receptions, got 20.2 points for you in a PPR league. It was a great turnout. Nobody had him.
I did.
So now people want to get him because he had a game. Look, before that, he had 13 carries total in 2 games. Didn't touch week 1, barely touched it in week 2. The only reason, what you have to understand about Peyton Barber is the biggest reason he touched the ball this week is that Kenyon Drake missed a pass block. So Kenyon Drake is in the doghouse. In comes Barber. Barber performs. So Barber's probably going to play next week should the opportunity allow, but understand that Drake is also going to play. So Barber's production and usage is going to go down with Drake coming back in. And then Jacobs going to be back. He could be back next week. He definitely probably going to be back the week after. And then Barber's absolutely useless to you. The Chargers are giving up 27 points to backs, and that's who they have next. So you might steal some points again next week. But after that, so if you're going to get Barber, I'm passing on him. But if you're going to get him, don't waste a lot. Don't spend a lot of money. Don't drop somebody that you should be hanging on to. I saw somebody asking about should I drop Chubb for Peyton Barber? Absolutely not.
You know what's a isn't Peyton Barber out snapping, rushing? I mean, Kenyon Drake, like, isn't that kind of strange? Even in the first 2 games, he did it. So is he like magically the number 2 back there now? I really want to really watch this closely. If nobody picks him up and something else happens, I mean,
I would say no, honestly. I would say that he's not the number 2 back because they're really just waiting for Jacobs to get back. When, like I said, week 1, Peyton didn't touch the ball 1 time.
Could have sworn he's not snapping, but I'll have to double check my stats. Still got to do your homework. There's too many players to count in every little second. But yeah, I like the pickup. There's no Josh Jacobs, but you're going to pass on. There's no reason to put a ton of fab on it. It's too late. The number 1 running backs are gone. So if you missed out on them, I just wouldn't go too hard on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So next up is going to be Cordell Patterson. A lot of people at Cordell Patterson. Last week I would have told you no, but after this week, maybe. I'm giving him a big maybe. Look, he's carrying the ball. He's carried the ball exactly 7 times every single week, so it's only 7 carries. But he's going up in receptions. He went from 2, he went to 5, he went to 6. His targets have gone up a little bit. His yardage has definitely gone up from 13 to 58, 82 through the air. His last week was actually his top week at 18.9, but he did get 10.2 this week. Just needed to get in the end zone, and he would have got you a much more respectable week. But his usage is constant. They're using him the same every week. They're actually throwing the ball to him more, which is odd with Davis being such a good pass catcher. But you kind of see a little trend of them definitely wanting to use Cordell Patterson. His receptions are rising for a reason. You might grab him. They got Washington coming up next, which is only giving up 16.5. But after that, they've got the Jets, and then he's got a bye. He might be worth grabbing. If you're really hurting a running back, Cordell Patterson might be a guy you could fill a spot with.
Yeah, here's what I meant earlier about check your lineups. I have Mike Davis on one team and I have Kyle Pitts on another. And this is the reason why I will be avoiding Cordell Patterson. Is the exact reason that there's no reason for me to get another player like Cordell that is just not really, you can't put both of them in your lineup. So for me,
true.
I'm going to take a pass on them.
Yeah, for your roster, you would take a pass. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to give up a bunch of it. Again, this is for people that are hurting for running back. I need a running back. I need something because we know running back is very, very thin. Cordell Patterson, he might float you a few points though, if you can get him. But check those rosters, check the waivers out there. People are, someone's going to get dropped for Chuba. and they might be worth picking up. People are overreacting to Chuba Hubbard. People are overreacting to Peyton Barber. They're giving up talent. So watch the waiver wire. That's the first thing I check. I don't check to see which people I got. I check to see what everybody gave up, to see who they just threw out there that I want to grab. That's the first thing I look at Wednesday morning. Patterson, maybe. You got any more running backs for us?
I do not. No.
Awesome. Let's go straight into the wide receivers. We're going to start off with Emmanuel Sanders, because Emmanuel Sanders is probably the number one guy that everybody's looking at this week. Went off this week. Had the 26 points, I think 26.4 points in a PPR. Beautiful output. The guy is getting targets. He's had 20 targets on the season. The problem is much like DJ Chark, but not quite as bad. He's only caught 11 of them. All right, so he's just over 50% on his actually being able to catch the ball. If you take away those 2 touchdowns, and he had a long play of 41, which is a nice play, but if you take away that 41-yard reception and those 2 touchdowns, he got you 10.3 points, which 10.3 is okay. But again, when we're talking about waiver wire pickups, how much are you going to give up for a guy whose 10.3 is the best of the season? They definitely want to use him. They're definitely trying to put him in there. The Bills are on fire right now. So getting a part of that action is definitely something you're looking to do. Emmanuel Sanders might be the way to do it, but you don't expect what he put up this week. Don't expect that every week.
I'm actually not going to pick him up on the waiver wires because I drafted him. I expected him to be in the mix, kind of like how AJ Green and Christian Kirk are in Arizona. They don't run the ball much in Buffalo. They pass. And he's going to get some more touchdowns this season. I like him, but you're not going to get 2 touchdowns every game. You have to temper your expectations on that. But I do like him. Like I was looking at him the whole time. All pre-draft, I said, you know what? I'm going to go running back heavy, maybe get an early tight end, and then in the later rounds get Emmanuel Sanders so I can fit him in those bye weeks. And good news is he was sitting on my bench this week, so awesome.
Yeah. Hey, look, get him off the bench, okay? If you can get him in waivers, I'm telling you right now, get him. They got Houston next week. Are giving up 31.5 points to wide receivers. That's spread over the whole team, but 31.5. Kansas City, 38.2 the week after that. And the league worst Tennessee giving up 50.1 to wide receivers per week the week after that. A fantastic schedule coming up for the Bills. If you have Bills players, play them all, and especially Bills receivers, play them all. And if you don't, try to get one. And Emmanuel Sanders might be someone you can get. If you can, grab him because he is worth the grab. You brought up Christian Kirk. We're going to talk about him again. We've already talked about him. He was a no before. This is after week 1 when he had his 2 touchdowns. And for me, he is still a no. He is 15 of 17, which is a nice catch percentage. He's catching everything that's thrown to him. But his only 2 touchdowns were in week 1. He did get 100 yards this week, which gets you 10 points, which isn't bad. But I'm not touching him. Again, he still has never had more than 6 touchdowns in a game. They've got the Rams next, who are actually giving up the most points to wide receivers. So that is against my argument. He could actually put some big points up next week if D-Hop and Moore don't get them all. And then they've got San Francisco after that and Cleveland after that. So the schedule gets a little worse for wide receivers. But next week, if you're going to play Kirk, next week would be the week to play him. And then after he gets his points, trade him off as fast as you can. Because, again, six touchdowns for the whole year, that's his best. And he's already got 2.
I like him. I really do. He's depending on, check your league settings, but in one of the leagues, he's averaging almost 17 points a game. 17 points a game is a really good filler for that, flex spot. That's something that you want, something that you need. He's going to get you 17 a game. No, he's going to get you 20 something. He's going to get you 10. It's just when you can put him in. Find the best matchups. Hopefully he gets those touchdowns and to help you win that week at least.
I wish that I was in that league where he's getting 17 points, because I'm pretty sure that last week was, other than week 1, of course, when he had the 2 touchdowns. I think last week, again, he had 10.1. Give me 2 seconds, load up. I'm sorry, folks. And go. So 19 points. He had 6.5 points in week 2, and then he had 10 points last week. So, little average there of 20, 30, 36 divided by 3. So you're looking at about 11 points, a little over 11 points in standard PPR. But again, like he said, check your league settings, because a lot of leagues are set up for high scores. They want big points. And so they're giving receivers a lot more points. And that may help you. Again, I'm a pass. Roop is grab him. I will say play him next week regardless. I think either way we're in agreement there.
Kyler Murray is throwing the ball like crazy. And right now, according to this league, Christian Kirk is ranked 16th. 16th.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, you really think that's wide receiver 1 on somebody's team, but temper the expectations. He is, not really number 1, but somebody wasn't 100% last week, so maybe that was the reason why he got a little extra looks. So,
exactly. Even with D Hop not being at 100%, he still only got the 100 yards, didn't even get in the end zone. So that could be a sign there for you. But again, Rams next week, giving up the most points to wide receivers, which is odd. I thought that was odd when I looked that up. But yeah, Rams giving up the most points to wide receivers. So Kirk worth a play next week. But again, don't toss your whole team just to get him for a week. The last receiver that I want to talk about, and I know you have another one, the last receiver I'm going to talk about is Patrick with Denver. I am really big on Patrick. I love Patrick, especially now that Hamler got hurt. I picked him up on last week's waiver wires. Bridgewater's throwing 76.8% completion percentage. Dak is the only one doing better at 77. Hamler is out, so that lowers the competition. However, because we are points over stats, you've got to mention these contests coming up. They've got Baltimore, they've got Pittsburgh, and they've got the Raiders coming up. All those guys are in the bottom half of points per 2 wide receivers, but they're not facing quarterbacks throwing 76.8% completion either. So little trade and give there. You got to gauge, is it going to happen? I'm a believer. I believe in Patrick. I believe that they will beat these defenses, and Patrick will get you some points. I am still all in on Patrick.
I do like him, but he might ride on my bench, especially the next couple of weeks. It doesn't seem like there are going to be really big shootouts. It's going to be like more defensive games. So I kind of have to, just let it go. I mean, I like Kirk better than Patrick. Let's put it that way.
No way. That's why you watch this show, folks. This is why you watch, because you get different opinion, you get different takes on it. You had one more. You want to talk about rookie of the year sensation from a few years ago, Mr. Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver 1 according to his jersey. Anyway, who did have a nice week this week?
He did. He went 3 for 5, 120, got a touchdown, which is wonderful. The coach was saying, I want to get him involved. I want to get him more involved. And he did. But he went 3 for 5.
Yeah.
Now, if you take out the 75-yard touchdown, he went 2 for 4 for 45. That's not going to get it done. So until he gets in the game more often, hopefully not, because I have Robert Woods on my team, but let's, that hurt for him getting that. So I think pump the brakes, because he's sitting at the top because he had a big week, and the stats you can see off to the side, like, oh, he's going to be the guy. I don't know about that, but they are throwing a lot over there, and he's worth a stash, especially if someone gets hurt, or if Robert Woods or Kupp just start backing away. Think about it, but I'm not going for him.
I'm not taking him either. Hey, look, if you just joined the show, I'm going to quick recap. Quarterback Sam Darnold, grab him while you can. Taylor Heineke might be worth a stash. He's got some good matchups coming up, and he's throwing almost 70%. He's got T-Mac. He can definitely win you some games. Carr, I'm leaving him alone. Roop there it is stashing him because his schedule, he's going up against some of the toughest pass defenses in the league as far as giving up points. So I'm not touching Carr. His numbers look good because he's got 3 quarters. We both agree on that. Running backs, Hubbard, yeah. As long as you're not dropping your entire fab budget or mortgaging your whole team, he's only going to be in there a few weeks. He's got a decent schedule coming up, though, but just remember he's only going to be there a few weeks. Patterson is a maybe. Roop there it is a little less optimistic. He says no. I think Patterson, if you're hurting at running back, Patterson could be someone you could throw in there just because it is such a thin spot. Wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders. We're both in on Emmanuel Sanders, very much so. We're splitting. I'm all in on Patrick. Roop would rather have Christian Kirk, who I am not in at all. So we've got a flip-flop there. Kirk only turning in 6 touchdowns a year so far. And none since week 2, but they do have a fantastic matchup against the Rams. Worst points to wide receivers next week. So Kirk at least is worth a play next week. But again, don't mortgage your roster to get him because after that, he may not get you very much. So do we want to talk about tight ends? The thing is with tight ends is you've got your top ones, and then you're kind of searching for somebody. You're almost playing matchups, not quite as much as defense. Defense is you can switch your defense every week. You can chase the defenses. Tight end, you're probably not going to do every week, but you can chase them and flop them around. I know one of the guys you were looking at this week, rightfully so, is Schultz.
Yeah, temper your expectations on this. When you look back at the stats the last couple of years, this is the first time he's had 2 touchdowns in a game. It kind of hurt the rest of the other playmakers for the week, but let somebody else spend their fab budget or even talk a little trash and say, man, I can't wait to get Schultz this week. Hey, because somebody's going to do it. I guarantee you, just check it. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you see someone spent 10, 20, 30% on because they needed a tight end. But, the good news is he's getting looks. That's going to benefit you another week sometime and then throughout the year. I'm going to temper my expectations on him for sure.
Yeah, let me tell you, hold your waiver this week on Schultz. Wait till next week. Look, next week he plays week 4. They're playing Carolina. Carolina's only giving up 7.1 points per team, league best, one of the best defenses in the NFL. You don't want to play Schultz against Carolina, but the week after that, they play the Giants. The Giants give it up 19.4 per game to tight end. So wait this week, pick up Schultz if you want to get him next week, and then trade him because after that they play New England, who is only giving up 2.2, which is best in the NFL, to tight end. So Schultz, save it till next week, play him for a game, and get rid of him.
I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
That might be on some people's mind. And I said it before. Josh Gordon is going to Kansas City.
Oh, Lord, here we go. It had to come up, right? It had to come up. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about Josh Gordon coming back in the league. He's going to Kansas City because they don't have enough receivers fighting for the ball there. You may as well throw Josh Gordon in there, too. Why not?
Unstoppable Kansas City. That's what's going to happen. Give him a couple weeks to get football ready, and then boom, put him in your lineup.
Yeah, he's a Christian Kirk guy. He's going to have one game with a couple touchdowns, and he'll be lucky if he has that. The last couple times he's come back, he really hasn't done anything. I don't know why he would do anything this time. I wouldn't be surprised if they try him out and decide, you're not good enough anymore. And puff, pass. You got that, Rob. I'm definitely passing on Gordon.
Get him for free, maybe after waivers clear.
I know we got wire space for that. Yeah, you got roster space to put Josh Gordon on there for no damn reason.
Well, when you drafted perfectly like I did.
Yeah. I was going to say, didn't you just tell us earlier you're 0-3? You know what? You're just a Josh Gordon away from a fantasy championship.
I'm just saying, things like that happen. We got a Mayfield, a puff pass. We don't know what's going on over here.
If are playing that defense roulette every week, chasing it down, just pick whoever's playing the Jets, because the Jets offense is absolutely horrible. Defenses are putting up numbers. The Titans have a horrible offense. Or a horrible defense, excuse me. But you know what? They're going to put up points against the Jets this week. So the Titans, especially on your daily fantasies, save some money, pick up the Titans against the Jets.
You're not supposed to say that. I already have them on my budget. I'm already sending. I have stuff in. I'm trying to get them.
They're trying to get that Titans defense because they're playing the Jets. I hear you. You might have to up that budget now.
Now I can't. Everybody knows the secret's out.
Yeah. Hey, if there's anybody else you want us to look at, let us know. You can shoot us a message on Facebook, but hey, we're right here. We're listening to you live. You can put a comment on, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can put a comment in. It'll come right to us, and we will see it, and we will give you the rundown right now. So if there's someone else you want us to look at, thanks for joining the show so far. Before we move on, if you're on Facebook, thank you so much. Please like the Fantasy Football group page. Contribute, throw things on there. That's what you can do in group pages. It's open to the public. Add whatever you want in there. And if you go over to the YouTube channel and you watch it, hey, like it. But as long as you're going to like it, you may as well subscribe, right? Go ahead and subscribe. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Everybody subscribe, and you'll all know when the show is coming on. But thank you so much tonight for tuning in. I think if you're ready, I know I'm ready. If you are ready to get into the college chaos, I'm ready to get into the college chaos.
I love college chaos, but a lot of it's been happening lately. And funny story, I'm actually doing pretty good on my upset alerts. So I did want Wisconsin to beat Notre Dame. I thought it was going to happen. They did end up losing, and I'm sorry, whoopsie. But just so everybody knows, it was 10-10 going into the fourth quarter.
No, it was close. I was watching. I was like, oh, man, maybe Wisconsin's going to pull this off.
Maybe. Yeah, so
didn't happen.
Notre Dame was sweating. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Oklahoma State did beat Kansas State, which is
you called that.
I called it, which is bad now. Oklahoma's playing Kansas State, and now they're no longer ranked. So now we look even worse. And of course, the big one, Arkansas did beat number 7 Texas A&M.
Man, what a win! And now they got to play Georgia, and we're going to find out who's for real and who doesn't belong.
Yeah, that one is it's pretty scary. I'm not going to lie. It's not on my upset alert, just because Georgia's finally looking like they're doing something, but it could kind of look like that Clemson first game. I don't know. It's just something about Arkansas I'm excited about. And I do want them to win just because Arkansas still has to play like Bama and Auburn or something. They got their
they got a schedule. No, Arkansas's definitely got a schedule. So yeah, if they were to pull off this Georgia win, they would definitely be up there in the playoff picture early. It's very early to start talking playoffs, but they would definitely have to be in that picture. But yeah, I believe they probably do play Alabama coming up, and so they would definitely have another test. Speaking of tests, Alabama playing number 12 Mississippi this week. I don't know if they're going to if Alabama's going to get quite the game out of Mississippi that they got out of Florida, but hey, Mississippi's playing some good ball.
Yeah, they are. I don't think they're going to get it done. I think Alabama's going to stay number 1, and we'll talk a little bit about numbers later. But Bama's still going to be Bama. We got that. I mean, the guys are big, they're fast, they're skilled, great coach. Moving on. I do have some more upsets for this week. It was a little harder this week, but I'm excited.
Let's do it.
Boston College is going to beat up on Clemson because why not? Everybody else does.
Yeah, why not? Everybody else is. Hey, look, everybody is allowed rebuilding year except Alabama, of course. So, Clemson, they just are rebuilding the whole thing apparently because they're not playing good ball right now.
Their defense is okay. I think their offense they need a spark, and I think they give their quarterback another chance, but he's got to pull something together, and he's got to win at home against Boston College. If he loses, you're going to be looking at some backups coming in here pretty quick. It's just my thought.
It's possible.
All right, so Notre Dame beat Wisconsin, so now Notre Dame's going to beat Cincinnati. It's going to be an upset. What do you think?
Wow. You know what? That game's going to be a great game. I think either team could win. And again, we're going to find out who belongs and who doesn't. Cincinnati almost lost to Indiana. And I really thought Indiana was going to win that game. It was very close. Yeah, so now they got to play against Notre Dame and prove it.
Yeah, and so it looks like I got 2 thumbs up so far, right?
What's that? You Boston College over Clemson,
Yeah.
Notre Dame over Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which
It
I
looks
agree
like
with that.
Stanford. What's that?
I agree with both of those, actually.
Okay. Well, it looks like Stanford's going to stun Oregon. What do you think?
Boy, you're really trying to call one out. Yeah, I'm not taking that one.
Not a chance. No, not taking it. No, come on now. I got to try to be good. We're gonna go back to the Big 12, and number 21 Baylor is going to beat number 19 Oklahoma State. After Oklahoma State just beat a ranked team, they're just going to beat up on each other until nobody's ranked. Just gone.
Yeah, no, I believe, and you're absolutely right. I believe that in the Big 12. That's typically what happens. So yeah, I can totally buy off on that.
All right. Well, so I got 3 for 3 thumbs up this week. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, and we'll talk about that next week.
Absolutely. Other games. Well, I mean, really, you mentioned the big ones. Wisconsin's playing Michigan. Wisconsin's been playing good ball. Michigan's been playing better ball, but that could actually end up being a really good game. Iowa's playing fantastic. They're 5th ranked. You got to always watch out for an upset to happen there. Indiana's got Penn State. Indiana actually playing some pretty decent ball, just not able to finish. I don't think that they'll beat Penn State this week, but I definitely think they could give them a game, and someone could win a lot of money if they went ahead and just put a little something on Indiana for craps and giggles.
Yeah, because I love college chaos. I mean, I want everybody in the top 4 to have 1 loss. I really do, just for the fun of it,
just to make it fun.
I mean, not 2 because that doesn't work yet. We're not there yet, but. Maybe we have, but not yet.
Yeah. Hey, look, everybody. No, please, yeah.
I have something I have to talk about that's been bothering me. I'm gonna go ahead and. There's no respect in the Big 12. I'm gonna throw the flag. Okay. It's pissing me off. Okay. Happens every year, and I get it. We have no defense and. It happens. If your team in college or NFL is not getting the respect they deserve, your quarterback, whatever, tell us in the comments why, because we want to know and we want to get on our soapbox and scream the names for you. Because here's the thing. I got some few stats I want to talk about. After week 1, there were 2 teams that won and dropped in the polls. They were both from the Big 12, Oklahoma and Iowa State.
Ohio State, we dropped too.
No, well, yeah, well, you guys lost.
We did not. We won. We slacked Akron. Yeah.
No, week 1.
Oh, week 1. Okay, yeah. You're talking week 1. Okay, I got you. Okay.
And then
we still won week 1. We lost week 2, but I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the only reason why we moved up week 2 was because Ohio State lost. Got it. That whatever. So anyway, we win week 2. Win week 3, we drop again. Win week 4, we drop again. How are you going to be winning and still drop? It doesn't make sense. Because it's no.
You're right.
They're all right. They're all right. They'll be good next year for sure. But so how do you? Okay, so we dropped 3 spots in 4 weeks. Well, actually, further than that, technically 3 times, let's say. But when you look at the stats, okay, they're no-name schools. Tulane, Western Carolina, Nebraska is good. West Virginia is good. Well, West Virginia was like one of the top pass defenses in the league in Power 5.
They're always a spoiler. They come out and they can beat teams. Any team that they play, they can beat.
Yes, and nobody's paying attention to that because it's West Virginia. They're not ranked. Nobody's paying attention to Nebraska, even they're playing really good ball right now. They're just losing to good teams. It's not bad. Now,
well, those are the spoiler teams. Those are the teams. Those are the why you play the game teams right there. Like because they can do that.
Yes, exactly. And So Big 12's not getting respect. It's nothing new, and I know that. But that's why I'm on my soapbox right now. But Oklahoma didn't let West Virginia score for the last 18 minutes of the game. That's pretty good defense considering we're in the Big 12. Now, what was the score?
Especially considering you're in the Big 12.
Yes, 16-13. Yes, exactly. Nobody's paying attention to it, but I'm pointing it out. Okay, we outscored opponents 155-64. That's pretty good defense. Would you agree?
No, you have to. Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Good defense, good offense, whatever. But we keep dropping in the polls. You know who's number 4 right now? Penn State. They outscore their opponents 126-60. You know what the difference is? That's one more point from the visitors team that Oklahoma gives up. But Oklahoma makes way more in touchdown. What, a touchdown a game? Okay. So let me get this straight. Number 4 isn't as good as Oklahoma, or is as good or better. It doesn't make any sense to me. The stats are really similar. We're still winning. Okay, we didn't play some high-ranked team and had a really good game against, Auburn. Okay, I get it. It's just a 1-point differential. It's not that far off. Now, the Big 12 is normally like 59-49. That's what Big 12 is all about, right? But now when Big 12 is 16-13, we don't get no respect. We didn't get no respect when we were offensive powerhouse. Now that we're defensive games and we're having actual competition, now we don't get no respect. You don't get both sides of the coin. You get one or the other. Oklahoma should not be slipping in the polls. They should still be in the top 4 until they mess up, because that's what we do. And I get that. It's coming. Hopefully not this weekend, some Kansas State upset. But
why are you not there, though? What's the real reason that you're not there? What's the real reason that they're making you fall, that they're penalizing you? What could your program possibly have done to
probably get more touchdowns and start putting 50 burgers out there? That's my guess. We're not blowing teams out.
Could it be something to do with teams in your conference wanting to leave your conference and go play somewhere else instead of just dominate their own damn conference?
This is the first Big 12 matchup. So as a Big 12 conference who's known for yards and yards after the catch and touchdowns, it's surprising to me that Penn State has 25 less points scored than us. Only their defense has held only 4 more points less. That's not that much more impressive.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak to every game that Penn State has played. I imagine they're looking at the quality competition, because by your own admission, the quality competition has not been there yet for Oklahoma. But I would say the big thing is, I'm not actually disagreeing with you. I think if you're putting up the numbers and you're getting the wins, because Alabama, half their schedule are cupcake teams. Now they still got to play top teams in the SEC because they're in the SEC and they have no choice. And they dominate those games, and so that's why they stay ranked as high as they do. But they also got to play the crappy teams in the SEC. They play Texas Christian girls college. Not that girls can't play football. I'm just saying that's who they play. And they play all these cupcake games, and they still stay up there. So when Oklahoma's playing games against opponents, because look, these schedules are made years and years in advance, and we know that from an Ohio State perspective, that Akron isn't going to be some powerhouse by the time we play them. It doesn't matter when we schedule them, or that Tulane, they're not going to be the Wichita State of the Final Four a few years back. It's not going to be like that. But I mean, these things do happen. Those NC State does beat Clemson. That happens. So, you can't help the program you're playing at the time you play them. They were what they were when you scheduled them. But again, that's so many years out, you don't know what you're really getting into. So if you're putting up the numbers and you're getting the wins, I always had a problem with teams getting the win and then dropping a lot of spaces. I understand you might have to make space for a stronger team getting a stronger win. When Arkansas gets that win, they need to move up And that might cause someone like Ohio State to move down, even though we blew out our opponent. But Arkansas deserves to be up there, and so we get pushed down. That's okay. You get dropped a spot. But like you're saying, when you get dropped multiple spots, even though you're winning, it never made sense to me at all. And it doesn't matter if it's Oklahoma or Ohio State or Oregon or it doesn't matter who it is. If you're getting the wins, then you should at least be able to stay where you're at if you're not playing the strongest opponents at that time.
Yeah, when you win 4 straight games and you're 4-0 and you drop 3 times in 3 different times in 3 different weeks, when only 2 people in front of you really lost, it just doesn't add up for me. But let's pump the brakes on it. I realize that
Oklahoma's still 6. Oklahoma's still ranked 6. I mean, you're sitting at 4-0. You're ranked 6. You're deep into the top 10. You're definitely still in playoff contention.
Oh yeah.
I don't think 6 is necessarily a bet. If you're in that top 10 before the official rankings even come out, I think you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I know these are like kind of like preseason rankings before the official ones, but in years past, there isn't a huge shakeup between the top 10 when it comes to the official one. It's pretty close to what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So maybe because the Oklahoma is leaving the Big 12, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep moving them back.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm going with this. But you know what? I mean, at the end of as the season goes on and you guys play more quality opponents, then we'll see. And I imagine the record and ranking will reflect.
They're all like I said, the upset, Baylor and Oklahoma, that's one of them. As soon as one of them lose again, they're no longer ranked. And then
no, that's true. No, that's absolutely true. They're dropped. They're way down. They have no shot. So you better not lose.
No, yeah, we can't lose. Like
winning them, you're in.
Not gonna be ranked. Horrible. Like it's just gonna be so bad. And whatever Texas just ended up doing the last few weeks, we played that is one of the hardest games every year. It doesn't matter if we're both ranked or not ranked at all. It's going to be a fun one. So it's going to be a wild couple of weeks, and I'm really getting excited for this. This is my favorite time of the year. October's coming up, and man, football is hitting the ground running.
And see, this is what we do here at Yards After the Catch. We hit the waiver wire stuff. We hit the stuff, the NFL stuff right off the bat. I think we spent more time talking about college chaos than we did the NFL because we don't waste your time. We get in there, we give you the numbers that you're looking for, and then we can get on to fun stuff. So come back every week. We're going to give you the waiver wire picks. Look, we're hitting it over 80% on waiver wire picks right now, and that's pretty fantastic compared to what a lot of people are doing because we look at the stuff, we put points over the stats because we know that's what you want in fantasy football. So keep coming back. Tell your friends, come back. If you hit the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. If you find us on Facebook, follow us, and then go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. But just keep coming back every week because we love to have you guys here. We love to yak football with everybody. Keep coming back, and we will see you right here for the best co-host in all the land. There it is. Find him on Twitter at Mr. Football Today. I am Chris Fox, and this has been Yards After the Catch. You guys be safe out there and have a great week, everybody.